Right. Markets right now, of course, are paying attention to the results in Georgia. We are seeing markets continuing to rally, which might be a surprise for some, as many thought markets at least would be under pressure with a Democratic majority in the Senate. So let's talk this more now with Michael Jones, chairman and CEO of Caravel Concepts. So, Michael, as I was just mentioning, we are seeing markets right now in the green. And I think a lot of people expected that with a Democratic majority in the House and in the Senate, that markets would not respond kindly to this news. However, we are seeing the markets rallying right now. The Dow up almost 2% right now in this moment. So tell me, are markets right now paying the most attention to the fact that Democrats are likely, with majorities in both the upper and lower chambers, going to pass further economic stimulus, which is going to boost the economic recovery? Are they not right now paying too much attention to the potential regulations, tax hikes that might be coming down the pike?
I think the markets feel very, very good about everything that's been happening in the last 24 hours politically. You mentioned the one downside of Democratic control would be tax hikes. But let's remember, with a 50-50 Senate, it only takes one or two conservative Democrats to cross over and block any tax hikes. And we think that's exactly what will happen to Joe Manchin and Mark Warner. They're really not going to go on board for big tax hikes. So I think the market is appropriately lowering the potential risk of tax hikes, but raising the prospects for a really big stimulus package, including major infrastructure spending. All of that's going to mean more money printing by the Fed to finance all that spending. And that means the same magic cocktail of aggressive fiscal stimulus and monetary stimulus that made 2020 a good year for markets, it's going to be repeated in 2021.
So at least let's dive specifically into tech right now. That sector is in the red, down about 0.5 percentage point right now. And we've talked a lot about particularly big tech and the regulations that they might be facing going forward. Now, a lot of folks, when looking at 2021, have said that tech is going to continue to do well, continue to outperform. I'm wondering now, with these Senate results of the runoff elections, and right now Jon Ossoff is leading that election, that race has not yet been called. But if he does win that race, and we do have that Democratic majority in the Senate, what do you make of tech performance, at least in this new year? Do you think at least the big tech is going to be coming under pressure as folks really weigh those options? They've been very favorable looking at regulations, at least.
I think regulation is probably less the fear than breakup. I think with the Senate now in Democratic control, you're going to have much more progressive voices chairing committees. There's going to be much more aggressive investigation of potential antitrust violations and other concerns about these giant, Google, Facebook, all the different acquisitions they've made, their breadth of market control. I think there's going to be an awful lot of energy behind potentially breaking up big tech. That's going to create volatility. I think markets are a little nervous about it. From my perspective, I look at the history. Let's go worst case. Let's say that all these investigations and all the energy behind potentially looking at these big tech and maybe breaking them up, let's say it happens. Well, historically, every time you've broken up a big company into the pieces have proven to be worth more than the puzzle. So I don't see it as a big threat except for short-term volatility and headline risk. I think long-term, the value propositions of these companies are still absolutely rock solid. I think they're as rock solid as independent operating entities as they are as a part of their current conglomerates.